You're right there, Chaos here today, going over another installment for you Black Templar lovers out there, and that is, as you can see right in front of you, High Marshal Helbrecht himself, the big dog, the big cheese, whatever you want to call him. We're going to be going over what I think of the model, how I went around doing it, my pros and cons, but then how to actually use him in 8th edition with his new rules, inverted commas, and how, as I said, not to use him as well. So hang on in there, I'll be showing you in a bit. You're right, so we're back. So we've got a new setup here. I want your honest opinion on how you think it works. And that is me using my light box to illuminate the model, have it right up in front of the camera so you can see obviously the model in all its inverted commas glory. So I've had this model, it is one of the fine cast resin ones for many a year now, and I've been meaning to paint him for a little while. That was actually the paint pot I had him stuck to actually paint him up. But I am really chuffed with how he came out. Now don't get me wrong, there's some of you out there may look at him and go, it's an absolute pile of shit that I've painted him up like. But I am really chuffed. I haven't done any proper painting on a special character in a long time now. So some of you may know I am going for the snowy style base for my Templars, because obviously I like the idea of the black with the white, let's just say, of the base. Really worked. The cape is a very dark grey. First time really doing some major blending, which I'm quite chuffed with. This was a bit of a trial and error. So I really like how obviously the reds came out on the weapon, as well as the guard, on obviously the candles at the top, the gold. I've had quite a few compliments about it, which I'm really chuffed with. But as you can see there, I've done the red on obviously the cape there. The scroll work, the chains, the model itself, the actual sculpting of it, I love it. And I've got a little skull on the base as well. And he's like on a plinth, he's walking up to, you know, give some scream, yell, battle cry out to his fellow brethren. But I'm really chuffed with how he has came out. Obviously with that combi melter on the back. He's wielding his sword of the High Marshal. It's just brilliant, brilliant sculpture, and I cannot fault it. I was a bit skeptical with the gold, but it came out alright. I got the red and the black insignias either side and all over the place, so I'm really chuffed. Face, oh, I wish I could have done better, but the sculpt I don't think came out that well that time. But lantern down on his left hand side, his robotic extra limb on his right hand side, it's all lovely. But anyway, I digress. I've gone on enough about the model, but I think it's came out really well, so let's leave it at that. Clear my throat. So let's go over the actual 8th edition rules for Helbrecht, and let's straighten them up a bit. So, wobble. High Marshal Helbrecht. He's 9 power levels, which is on average, okay, for a chapter master. He's 170 points, so he's slap bang in there with the other chapter masters. Some are a little bit cheaper, some are a bit more expensive. I'm happy with that. He's got the standard rules. Oh, let's go over his stats a minute first. So his movement 6 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill are both 2+. Really, really useful. His strength and toughness are both 4. That's pretty standard, alright. He's got 6 wounds, ample enough wounds. I'm really quite happy with that. He's got 4 attacks. Nice going. He's got leadership 9. Perfect. Not going to fault that. He's got an armor save then of 2+. Does the job. Let's go over his war gear. So, bit of war gear. He's got obviously his combi bolter. So he's got a bolt gun statistic. And he's got the melter gun statistic. So bolt gun 24 inch, rapid fire 1, strength 4, no armor piercing, 1 damage. Melter gun 12 inch range, assault 1, strength 8, rending, let's just say armor piercing 4, d6 damage, half range, you get to roll 2 and choose the highest. Easy as that. Frag and crack, you know what they're like. He's got an iron halo, so it gives him an invuln save of 4+. All chapter masters should have that, unless I'm mistaken. He's then got the sword of the High Marshal. You can see there it's a massive, in the lore, it's forged out of parts of Rogel Dawn's sword that he shattered, that he felt like he let the Emperor down when the Emperor got obviously wounded severely by Horus. So that's actually shards out of his blade, which I like the idea of. So his melee type obviously adds 1 to his strength, so he's hitting on strength 5, not bad. Is an armor piercing of 3+. So basically, correct me if I'm wrong, 3+, if you're a Space Marine of a 3-up armor save, I'm not sure if you actually get an armor save. I think you get most 6, because it goes 3, then a 4, 5 and 6. So I think at most you get a 6-up armor save, which is great against, you know, Space Marines. They're kind of the benchmark. But let's say if you're going against cultists that may have a 4 at most, they got no armor save. Damage is D3. Good going. And his ability is when Helbrecht you can make D6 additional D3. Let me reword that. Helbrecht can make D3 additional attacks with his weapon if he charged in his turn. So if he charges in, he could in theory go up to 7 attacks. That's very nice. Minimum he goes up to 5 attacks. Still a little bonus. Now let's go over his rolls. So the standard one, he's a chapter master, so you can re-roll any failed hit rolls from friendly same chapter unit within 6 inches of the model. So that is Templars. Nice, not going to complain. Crusade of Wrath. So this is the special one for Helbrecht. And that is all friendly Black Templar models add 1 to their strength characteristic while they're within 6 inches of Helbrecht. That goes on to himself as well. So he's got the Sword of the High Marshal. Then he's got his own ability. So that's 2 extra onto his strength. That's 6 strength. And say you put him in a big blob or couple blobs of Crusaders, things like that. They all add 1. You can see where this is going. And now with the codex of the Space Marines being released, each chapter has got its own chapter tactic, or let's just say warlord trait. And the Black Templar one that all named characters of the Black Templars have is Oath Keeper. So when you do heroic intervention, it's usually 3 inches that you can move up to your closest enemy unit. Black Templar named characters, or characters if you wish to, can move 6 inches. Very much combat orientated, which I'm very happy about. And then they get access to the chapter tactic of the Black Templars, where they re-roll their failed charge distances. Brilliant. It's all about getting into close combat. So let's round up what we've got out of here. So Helbrecht, very much a buff bubble of giving you extra strength, letting you re-rolls the hits. He gets additional attacks. His warlord trait makes him better to get into combat with enemies with that 6-inch movement. You don't have to move the full 6 inches, but you got that option. And getting the chance to re-roll your charges. He is very combat orientated. Now, some people have got ideas of putting him in with, say, assault terminators. Nothing against that. Don't get me wrong. If you have an idea, you have a minimum of 5-man blob of assault terminators with lightning claws. He gives them re-rolls to hits. Then plus 1 strength to their own strength, which I believe is a 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lightning Claws also let you reroll to wound. So you're rerolling hits and you're rerolling to wound. And you get the chapter tactic of you reroll your charges. They are very much going to start chewing through the enemy. Brilliant, brilliant tactic. But that goes into a bit of a Death Star unit. So you've got to be careful of your point sync. Because you can't deep strike them in. So they're either going to have to foot slog their way up. Or you're going to have to put them in a Land Raider. Or a drop pod. So you see what I mean? More points are then going into this Death Star unit. My personal preference is putting them in with a Crusader squad. Alright. In a Crusader. Crusader squad says has a Melter in there. And say 2 Power Fists or a Power Sword, Power Fist, Power Axe. As like the Sword Brethren and the heavy weapon choice. Because Crusaders can have that instead of a ranged weapon. Have him in there, maybe the odd apothecary in there, maybe to give them that extra feel no pain, inverted commas. And if you do have the points, putting in the Emperor's Champion, because the buff goes over to the Emperor's Champion, but I'll be going over that in a future video. With the Emperor's Champion being a proper, I'm going to go after your characters and your monstrous creatures. But you can see Helbrecht is meant to be at the front. Very much at the front, but don't push him straight up into the enemy. Have him bolstering up your units when you work up the battlefield, and then when an enemy character comes across like an Orc War Boss and they charge in, you use your heroic intervention to get Helbrecht going, no, and you get him to charge in. So I hope this has been concise and helpful for you all. I'm really happy with Helbrecht, and I'm definitely going to be putting him in a lot of my future battles that I'm going to be having. So, if you really want to keep up to date with all these videos, don't be afraid to subscribe down below and hit that bell notification. And if you liked the content, please smack that like button down below. And discuss your ideas on Helbrecht and how you would use him in the comments down below. So you all take care of yourself. Chaos out. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to see the other videos in the playlist, you got the left hand option. If you want to see the content that I have on my channel, you then have that middle option there. And if you'd like to join the chaotic crew, please don't be afraid to click that button on the right hand side. You're more than welcome.